He's like, dude, that is absolutely insane. I just saw how trash they are. All right, we are so back. We are live. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 11:30 a.m. EST. That means it's been a while since I did this. 3:30 p.m. UTC and Brazilian time 12:31
GM
GM.
12:31.
See, I still got it. Cozy still got it.
It's only fucked when the Euros changed the clocks like 10 days before the burgers, and then the burgers change it. So there's only like a week there where it's quite confusing.
There's that, and then it's 2 times a year, right? It's both the times that we do it, and the Euros talk shit like they don't do it, like it's just the thing that happens in the US, but then like a month later they also do it.
Is it ever gonna stop? Are they ever gonna be done with this?
No, you need to harvest. You need a later harvest season, man. The farmers got to work longer.
Call me an idiot, but this is the first year I realized that like Euros have daylight savings time. Because I'm used to them just talking shit about how stupid it is that we do it. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to find out while in France that the clock changes there too. What is the reason in Europe? I wish we had a Euro on right now. I need to know. You know, we do it for our farmers. What the fuck do you do it for?
Well, Claude or Anthropic just launched Opus 4.7, so it has to be the best model yet. So this should be an easy task.
An easy question for it to answer.
Yeah. I'm just wasting everybody's compute asking why Europe does daylight savings. It says historical energy saving reasons, though the rationale has gotten weaker over time. The original idea goes back to World War I. Germany was the first country to adopt it in 1916 to save coal for the war effort, and others followed quickly. The logic was simple: shift the clocks forward in summer, so evening daylight lines up better when people are awake and active, reducing the need for artificial lighting in the evening. So sounds like that needs to change.
Yeah.
It sounds like they need AC and air conditioners, and they need to get rid of this.
Well, I do give them a pass on the AC after finding out it's not because they like to just sweat all over each other. It definitely makes sense. You know, here in the US where we just like we trash all of our existing architecture and homes and buildings, and we just rebuild new ones. Europe has preserved the same buildings that have been around for the last hundreds of years, and it's not so easy to go inside those and
put central air.
Yeah, put central air and route furnace. Yeah, I mean, we'll just wrap it all up into central air, into their living spaces.
Yeah, I mean, it does keep its charm, though, right? Like when you walk around Paris or these historical cities that have historical sections of the city, everything's uniform, everything looks similar.
100%. I'm not
sick. It looks great. Looks great.
Any way to I wasn't saying like they have old buildings as like a diss. Like it's really just an understanding as to why, where I used to make fun of it and like, dude, why the fuck would Brits just tolerate like
if they want to, they figure out a way. Like there are apartments that look old and they have air conditioning.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's
they can figure it out.
I'm about to redo a room upstairs, right? And it had it's like an above the garage room, so it doesn't have any heating or air conditioning that's piped through there. But you can buy like units that plug in that work just as well as central air would for a small space. And it's not some fucking
they usually it's just a single unit. It's not they very rarely have central cooling. I don't think they.
But we don't know, Denton. Like they're regulated on how much fucking water and shit they can use whereas we just run the fucking sink while we brush our teeth and
Yeah.
like we waste so much water here, and over there they can't water their lawns on certain days of the week.
They have those like little AC units, but the problem is it ruins the facade on the front of the building, so you're not allowed to do it. But if you stick it in the back, I think that's how they do it.
Keep the charm alive. You know, you guys won't have power or jet fuel in the next few weeks, but
the charm, I can
Is
deal
that
with.
still
Every
happening?
time I've been to Europe, even during the heat waves, like it was tolerable because I wasn't in a country where they tell you can't use your air or your water. And I much prefer the preservation of the old architecture. Like it's one of the things I hate the most about the U.S. Like you go into any small city or even large city, and it's like besides the skyscrapers, which aren't even like they're not aesthetically pleasing in the same way that like old world architecture is. They're more like they're more marvels for just like how big they are, and the fact that a building is that tall or is fitting in like, the area that it is. But they're not like beautiful to look at, and then everywhere else you go, it's all the buildings are cookie cutter buildings so that if that business closes, they can just shove something else in there. And like, it's easy to swap them out without people thinking, oh yeah, this vape store is in a Blockbuster. The vape and the Mexican restaurant and the old Pizza Hut. Like, there's none of that because there's
people
no
remember it like that though.
to the buildings anymore. So yeah, it's one of the things I enjoy the most when I'm overseas is just the preservation of old architecture. Even some of the cool things in like other
definitely.
like older cities in France where they remodeled and just updated, like the old I don't even want to say buildings, but like the old holes in the fucking wall that, the stores and merchants used to work out of, and they turned them into like Michelin star restaurants. It's like you walk through these, like old, rickety alleyways from like, the 1700s, and it looks like some shit that you'd see in like not even from when civilized people lived, it's like they're literally like cave holes in the wall with a door on it, and you open it up and it's like a beautiful restaurant inside. So even that is, I think really cool because from the outside, it still looks like, this like city trapped in the past, and that everything's modern.
There's a whole like there's people who learn how to restore these buildings the way they're supposed to look. Like the reconstruction of the Notre Dame after it burned. It's like a whole trade to know how to even approach these things to fix them.
Yeah, it's like restoring the paintings and the art, right? It's a whole it's a whole science, right? At some point, right? Like I would just accidentally strip the Mona Lisa, or like what's the Last Supper, right? Like they restored that a couple times. That one was crazy to see. Like it's getting wild, man. Dude, what's happening with the cryptos and the stocks? These stocks are ripping. AI is ripping, and crypto is sitting kind of flat. Same price. Check price, same price.
Same price. We're in spring approaching summer, and usually we get some upside volatility to get everyone all bullish and excited before summer hits, and then we have a mute summer. I think was it last year was probably the first time in a while that hasn't happened, where for some reason people traded. Maybe it was 2 years before that. My time's kind of blending, but usually we have, everyone goes away for the summer. There's nothing going on. I think the other thing is that we're in a no cut cycle. Like we're not going to cut. So like there's no rate related
Catalyst.
to get people
Yeah, there's no
excited, right?
catalyst.
Like yeah, to make people shove into risk assets. If anything, they're looking for where the best yield is, and if it's not significantly better on chain, then why would we expect larger inflows than what already exist? So I don't
But
know.
they are buying, like, okay, so these, let's go back, right? So like World War III didn't happen, right? We nuked in February. I got to pull up the 3-hour chart so I can get this right. We nuked in February. We've been in the same range at like, 75, 65K for 2 months, basically. But World War III didn't happen. Let's call it end of March. We had like a nuke in the end of March. That was to 65K. And we're up, 15, what is that, 12, 13% off the lows. The war isn't necessarily getting better. The strait is still closed. People were dying. There's no resolution, but everybody bought downside protection. Downside protection still now is more expensive. People are still risking monies just in case there is this downside risk, but it's not like this 40K flash crash that everybody was expecting, or 50, and we've just been slowly grinding up. And ETFs have been buying, and Saylor has been buying with his financial wizardry that he was doing. So it's like a weird time, like everybody was short and everybody had to unwind now, right? Like we're sitting at range high. If we break out, we're going back to into the 80s.
Yeah. And I'm here for that.
I'm here for that too. Oh, right here, just now, 10-day ceasefire, Lebanon, Israel. Yeah, okay, 10-minute ceasefire, but like stocks are all-time high, man. Like we're not even, AI is absolutely tearing on every front, the software front, the hardware front, all businesses. CoreWeave, AMD's up 6% today, dude. Like it's up so much.
Yeah.
It's up 43, 25 days.
Hell yeah.
Like what a fucking run, like
I mean, I noticed all the analysts
Amazon
turned bullish like Saturday, just for Monday. Like everybody turned bullish.
Yeah, because they realized like, okay, there's this deal that's happening. Guess what? Iran isn't going to change the world. If it is, it's changing that end of the world, not America. America, I think it kind of was on purpose, right? So like they attacked Iran. The Middle East now attacks their neighbors, or they're all attacking each other. Barrels per day goes to shit compared to what the output was before. And then Trump comes in and saves the day, like, oh, look at all this oil that we have. We've been drilling, drill.
Did you see the traffic to the Gulf of America?
See, like we've been drilling, baby drill. I've been telling you, don't be a panicking. That's what his slogan, right? And WTI is still higher than it was at the beginning of the war. But if they come in and say, oh, we have all this supply to fulfill the demand, it's an interesting place for the U.S. to be, where they kind of created chaos themselves to be the knight in shining armor. And it was weird because oil lagged, man. Like, oh, the shit started going on in February, and it wasn't until like the beginning of March that oil started to go super, super crazy. You had a lot of time there. If it wasn't like the next day, like it took a couple weeks to catch up, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Ew, SanDisk? Have you seen SanDisk?
Dude, I was gonna say SanDisk is even fucking blowing up.
Dude,
people need their SSDs, dude. People need their
SanDisk is up 2,000% in 200 days.
And the other one, Micron, too.
MU, yeah, Micron, just up. Like what the fuck, man? And all of them are going up, dude. SPY's all-time high today. Or I guess it was yesterday, but still continuing today. All these stocks are just ripping, and crypto's sitting here like, fuck, man, like really down bad from the highs still, like 40% down from the highs on Bitcoin. Like we're still full bear market, even though we did have a nice pump the past couple weeks. It's not saving us yet, right? What's up with this quantum? This quantums?
Which one? Like just the fear of quantum?
Well, Josh from AMD's all-time high. Oh my god, Josh from
I didn't know
FalconX.
if you were talking about a project called Quantum, or if you were just talking about all of the FUD and like fear about quantum.
Well, yeah, okay. So there's fear and FUD, right? But Josh, FalconX, Derivatives,
Yep.
he got retweeted by Chamath, the SPAC king,
Yeah.
on his position of crypto derivatives, right? So Josh is like a crypto derivatives OG, and he made a good argument and a good point, right? Like if there is this conversation of if we fork the chain again, and Bitcoin has two chains, Nakamoto era and then the new era. Okay, all the institutions will just be forced to pivot to the new era, right? And leave all the old coins. But this leaves decentralization and all these other things that Bitcoin stands for in question, right? And then he went in and broke down all
because the main thing that they're wanting to do is with this new BIP is they want the ability to freeze OG coins. So it's essentially saying like we're scared that when quantum gets good enough, Satoshi's coins are going to be exploited, and that would crush the market, right? So
instantly
crush the market. So what they're proposing is passing a BIP that would allow them to freeze those coins so that they can't move. It's a very like convoluted proposal, because when you look at all the layers involved, what it's saying is that all the exchanges now who are who have users of this old of Bitcoin now all need to conform to and switch to like the new version of BTC, right? And everyone needs to call this new version BTC, and the new version is Bitcoin, right? And there's always contention when stuff like that happens. I know a lot of the people who are around right now weren't around when the fork, battles were taking place. And it was a really like weird time, because there was
I remember
that hadn't happened to Bitcoin with so much support for a fork prior to that. So there was a lot of concern as to, what happens with, hash power when there's more hash power on one chain to the other. What is the metric that decides what the real quote unquote like Bitcoin is? And there was a small portion of time, I believe, maybe a day or 2 days, where BCH had more hash than BTC.
I remember.
So there's, I don't want to call it FUD, because you normally like tie FUD to things that aren't true. But in reality, like there is a lot of FUD that will happen and take place in a literal sense of people being fearful, being uncertain of like the outcome of which one is going to have the most support, if the people that need to align are aligning on the new version being the
real version.
And I would say, like, obviously the decentralization maximalists are going to be very much vehemently against this. Institutions are probably very much for this.
I think they're forced. That's his argument. They're forced because they're all just going to agree with each other. They all like it, so they're just being forced. Why do they want to be in the middle of it at all?
Well, they don't have to, right? They can make no choice at all and continue to use the BTC that they have and they do use, and then that is making a choice that the old one is like the true BTC. The thing about it is that the current version of Bitcoin is not the version of Bitcoin that Satoshi created. So like I don't even like this moniker of like Satoshi era and new era because it's not Satoshi era.
The Old and New Testament.
No, quite literally, dude. Like if we
Yeah.
were really, and people hate like admitting this, but if we're really looking at like what version of Bitcoin that exists today is closest to the one that Satoshi described in the white paper and was working towards with release, it is BSV. Like that has all of the features, the functions. It's cheap. It can be used as money, peer-to-peer cash. It is closest to what's described in the white paper. And there's already been forks and soft forks that have happened on BTC that have enabled things or restricted features that make it further from the original version and vision than Bitcoin Cash and BSV are. And that's a super, controversial thing. People don't like hearing that. But it's true. So like, I really don't like the argument of like, it really should just be, are you okay with BTC the way it is now? Or do you think these improvements like are worth doing? And the thing that I don't like about it is what it actually forces is it forces, if Satoshi is still alive, it forces him to move his coins, right? And or forfeit them. So it also is kind of a way, I think, to tell whether he's A, still alive, or B, wouldn't care about the money at all.
Why would the CIA care about it? So Josh's point, right, in this exactly what you said, right, where there becomes a pivot point for those that need to hedge out risk or believe that there is risk. Where are you going to put size on? Right? You're not going to put it on a DEX. You're not going to put it on hyper. Like if Bitcoin goes to zero, the whole fucking thing goes to zero, right? Let's just put it like that, right? The whole ecosystem goes to zero. So if you're betting on that risk, the only safe place that you could put this on is CME, right? You can only put it on TradFi because in theory, everything else would go to zero. And we're seeing puts be more expensive than calls, but this is because of this Iran shit. It has nothing to do with quantum yet. And we only have options that are 1 year out, but it would be a different conversation if it was 3-5 years out, like in TradFi, and you could build different structures around it. So that's something to watch is the CME futures and options and IBIT options, or whatever, any of the ETF options with crazy weird flow around. They're calling it Q Day, Quantum Day, which isn't happening right now. But it was an interesting, like you wouldn't need to look at, Binance, Bybit, like the big players are not going to put that position on there because in theory it would go to zero. The only place that you'd be safe is CME, which kind of is backwards of all of crypto. So something to watch out for. Not happening this year, but in the future. And what you never know with Mythos. Mythos could just get rid of everything.
I think I talked about it on here that I was that I thought they were full of shit. They do this every time they release something new. Even OpenAI did this back in like 2019, I want to say.
Yeah, to install fear, we need government contracts.
Yeah, it was like this version of ChatGPT is terrifying. Like it's like, dude, what are you talking about? It's a fucking.
It didn't even know how many R's were in strawberry.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing was like when you read the Mythos report, they like
Mythos or Mythos? What are we going for here?
I don't know. Whatever. Tomato. They fed it the exploits pretty much. Like they kind of told it what to look for. It was one thing. Not disregarding that it's a better model.
How did they know?
They were talking about it as if it went out on its own and it found these things, right? But that's not the case at all. The other thing is that another guy, and I this is what I talked about on the stream. I was like, dude, someone could probably do this right now with like an Opus and Codex setup, with a couple agents and get the same thing done. And someone did, and they showed their work. They had an Opus like orchestrator and 2 Codex agents, and it found all the same exploits. So it's like it's possible now with the tools we already have. It's a lot of marketing to say that, you know, this thing is so fucking powerful that we should be terrified. It's just a more expensive, faster model. It's built for enterprise use. They just released 4.7 today, which is the retail version of that. So I don't know, dude. I'm a firm. I don't have AI psychosis, even with the amount that I use it. I'm like a firm believer that we are like in a plateau stage where the models aren't going to get like much. I don't want to say much better, because better is like such a wide surface.
Yeah, not better. We got to find a word for that. Capable, capable on its own, self-sufficient. I don't know the right word.
Yeah, like the models aren't going to be like gain more capability. Like they're going to just add more features and, like, you know, build in more of the things that we already use like agents for, or research skills, and like they will make it more capable. But like the level of quote unquote intelligence that it has and reasoning, I don't see improving significantly because of things like you mentioned just earlier. Like, you know, we're already like seeing the downstream effects from the industry not being able to keep up. Like, and it's not just chips and like memory and storage and stuff like that. It's fucking the industrial pieces too, like fan blades.
Yeah,
and
energy,
fucking
energy in
you know,
general.
things like that.
But it will be more. It will become more efficient. It will be more powerful for the same amount of power.
I don't know.
I mean, that's already happening. Like, it's exponential.
I don't know if that's actually happening right now. Like,
you think that it's only better now than it was in 2022 because it has more, like, they have more RAM and graphics cards?
I think they have a shit more. They have an insanely. They have.
Yeah, they 1000x compute.
That's how deep learning. That's how deep learning improves. It improves itself over time.
No, like I think at some point it will become cheaper, right? But right now we're in this weird stage where there's not enough supply. Like MU's not, you know, Micron's not sitting on a bunch of shit. SanDisk isn't sitting on a bunch of inventory. Even Amazon's chips, two buyers tried to come in and buy, or sorry, NVIDIA. 2 buyers tried to come in and buy every fucking chip that they had. And they're like, that's not how it works. Like, you can't just buy the whole fucking, you know, there's not enough supply. They're definitely not building enough. I don't know if it's on purpose to keep the mania going, you know, but it's not over yet. And it should become cheaper. But I think we saw that, like, from when Will Smith's, you know, AI spaghetti video to now, like it has gotten cheaper, but also people are using it way more. Like there's just not a balance at all. Zero balance. People want more. It's getting more and more expensive. They're subsidizing it as much as they can. But even yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Anthropic was like, oh, if you're enterprise, like, you need to pay for the fucking compute. You need to pay for the tokens. We're not going to subsidize this shit anymore because it's getting insane. So
yeah, I mean,
it's not over yet, right? Like,
I wouldn't even call myself a power user. And in the last 3 months, I've used billions of tokens.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. Like, regular people, you know, not full-time engineers are using it.
And he was like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, you know, further down the road. I'm like, your $200 a month plan is going to become the $100 a month plan. Like, you're going to get the same amount of work that you'd get out of the 100 usage out of the 100. You're going to get the same usage from a $200 plan as the people who have a $100 a plan now get. And they're going to offer you a $500 a month plan for the 20x.
And you're going to pay, and you're going to pay for it. Yeah, of course.
You need your fentanyl, dude. Your digital fentanyl.
No, I forgot who it was. One of these VC guys was like, on the Twitters was like, oh, whoever figures out how to, how to make that $500 or $200 a month plan $20 is going to be the guy or the company that does like insane and the whole world's using it. Like right now, if you look at, okay, let's say Oracle, right? They just fired 30,000 people. Snapchat fired 1,000 people. All these US based entities fired like 100,000 people across the board, basically. And that's not happening here in Brazil because you can't have a show without mentioning Brazil, right? But service or workers are $200 a month minimum wage. So how much it doesn't make sense the token to employee price, right? You're not going to replace all these fucking people with AI unless it's going to cost you $100 a month to replace somebody versus paying them $200 a month. I think it's a little more now. I think it's like 220, 250 because of the rate, right? But it makes sense in an Oracle where you're paying this fucking person $200,000, 400, 500,000 plus stock option, plus all the shit. And it's like, oh, we can replace this guy with 50K worth of tokens, especially repetitive tasks and things like this. So we're not seeing it here yet, but we're seeing it in the US for sure. And maybe Europe next, but Europe already pays like shit, right? It's going to be something interesting to watch. Like once it gets cheaper, then it starts replacing people here, but maybe that's 5 years away. I wanted to say 10, but at the rate things are going, maybe that's 5 to 7 years away before you actually start replacing low minimum wage jobs in Brazil.
Like what kind of jobs are you thinking? Like I still am
my buddy was the head of Itaú, the head of digital assets, which is basically being the fucking president of digital assets at fucking the equivalent of Bank of America or Wells Fargo, like one of the biggest, if not the biggest investment banks in Brazil. And his bonus was $100,000 and he 3x the business. So like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like you're a senior dev here makes 70K USD a year. Like it just doesn't equate, a really good job here is like $2,000, $3,000 a month. That's like an amazing job. Like you're in the less than 1%, if you're making $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
$3,000-$4,000 a month. And that's like a fucking McDonald's job in San Francisco. It's $20 an hour, 2,000 hours, 40K a year.
Yeah. I mean, I think that simple, like anything that involves a computer, like right now, like a POS system, like those positions will be replaced. It was the first time I didn't get pissed off. I had an AI agent handle a support call for me the other day. And number one,
a call or the text?
No, a call. I called in and an AI agent answered my call on a recorded line.
Did it say it was AI?
Yeah. It told me that it was an AI agent. Its name was whatever, and that it would be assisting me on my support call. And you could tell it was AI from the voice, but it didn't sound like the robotic one. Like, it had a more human type voice to it. And the reasoning was unbelievable. Like it actually understood what I was saying. It was, taking notes of like, the points that I was bringing up about what wasn't working and why. And then eventually when it came to a point to where it knew that it was outside of its like realm of helping, it said, I'm going to connect you with a human. Is this your phone number? I said yes. And then that was the other thing. It didn't like ask me, say yes or no, press pound when you do this. It just asked me.
Yeah.
I responded and it responded back to me. So it was having a real conversation and it was actually really good. I can totally imagine the majority of call centers being replaced by stuff like this, but they're still going to have a core group of people that are going to like, just like this agent did, it handed it off to a human called me back like 3 minutes later. There's still going to be that because like you need humans to quote unquote bug squash, right? Like you need them to be able to take on the tier 2 assignment where it's outside of the realm of access that the agent has. And that could be just like, you don't want it messing with some of your internal systems, right? So if it's anything that it can't walk through or can't do in a simple dashboard, then it pushes it off to the human. But I totally see jobs like that. And like, yeah, McDonald's, drive through and register workers and things like that being replaced, because it's a very simple task. It's calculated, and it takes no like human reasoning to do the job, right?
Sure.
It's also inexpensive. It's like construction. Like, you're still going to have humans on a construction site, right? But I see a world where we just have fucking automated machines running with the build plan and building things 100x faster. It doesn't make any sense why you would. It's all schematics, exact calculations, exact measurements.
If anything, they build it better than a fucking human.
Or a machine, you know what I mean? Like, drivers, you're seeing it already, on the West Coast with Waymo.
Have you ever used that?
Waymo? Fuck yeah, dude. Waymo's legit, dude. Waymo's fucking legit as
I heard
fuck.
that. I heard from a friend of mine that
you get in,
cool.
It's playing a little jazz, It's playing a little jazz.
Does it do
or a little? No, but they have Coco or whatever, which is Uber Eats little robot thermal robot thing. I think it's called Coco.
Little thing.
Yeah,
I mean, they could do a car that just like they could do a car that like opens up.
This conversational exercise that I had, it actually validated. I was making fun of this for a long time, but it validated the rent-a-human like model, because like, imagine you have a physical store that has like agent infrastructure that's running most of the stuff there, and you run out of something, like you run out of printer paper, right? Like that is something that like you would rent a human for, right? Like, or maybe not. Maybe there's robots everywhere where, the fucking one that's running the store sends a request to fucking Staples. The Staples robot grabs the box of receipt paper
and fucking puts it in the Amazon drone, and it sends it in your fucking window.
The Waymo drives it over. Now in the future, the Waymo V2 has, Neo robots inside. The Neo robot gets out, stumbles over itself, gets back up, opens the door, falls again.
And then you got your printer paper in fucking 5 minutes. Dude, we have this thing here called
around the parking lot, and then eventually, a human shows up and helps them get inside.
Dude, we have Rappy Turbo or whatever. It's called Hoppy here, but Rappy is the English name.
Yeah,
dude, it's faster for me to order a fucking 6-pack of water, 12-pack of water, ice cold beer, for a party, ice, whatever, right? I can order pretty much everything that you would want, even bananas, chocolate powder, small shit cooking shit that I need salt. Okay, whatever, right? It's faster for me to fucking go on the app, Apple Pay, this fucking Hoppy Turbo thing, than me going to the store. And the store is fucking really close, man. Like, it's faster for them to pick it up and bring it to my house than it is for me to go to the store, stand in line, pay for it, and come back. Like, we're talking delivery in 6 minutes. My wife's like, that fast? I'm like, it doesn't make any sense, man. And you pay fucking 40 cents delivery. We don't have this like $10 delivery shit here. Dude, we need to send some Brazilians over, dude, to America, dude.
Bro.
Get them working. I'll time it next time and I'll text you. Probably today. I'll fucking use it. It's literally faster than me going to the store. And it's like, that guy makes $200 a month. So until the robot can replace that guy, like, it's not happening in Brazil for a long time. Like, we just got electric cars. Like, just barely. Like, a few years. And now it's BYD. We got the Chinese good shit, the BYDs.
I've used, I think I've used one as a rental.
They're legit, man. They're super nice. Super sick. But that's the thing that like BYD is everywhere where Tesla's not, right? So like even in the
Yeah.
Bahamas is BYD, and it's like okay, what in America is Tesla, Europe is Tesla, BYD's China, Asia, America, South America, Central.
They have
And
hybrids
they're
too,
fucking
right?
nice cars. Yeah. They have hybrids. The thing here with
it was a
electric
hybrid.
cars and hybrids is you pay less registration every year. So I think it's 0 or maybe it's 0.5% of the value if it's electric, and I think it's 1% if it's a hybrid versus
Wow.
4. You pay 4% a year registration for a gas car. So people are, a $20,000 car, it's electric. Whatever, they charge it at the fucking mall, or they have the charger at their house, whatever. I think that's where we're lacking is we don't have this infrastructure. So like in LA with Waymo, they have, or in San Francisco, they have fucking parking lots of chargers with humans plugging them in. So at what point does that guy get replaced, right? And I don't even think we have the infrastructure in the city to build like that. It's like a fucking power plant, right? To charge these fuckers. It's insane.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious. Dude, Netanyahu and president of Lebanon are going to the White House.
Jesus. I gotta hop off. I forgot that I had another meeting. That
Oh
I'm
yeah,
actually
there's gonna be
gonna be
peace.
late for. But give me a little update here, bro. Like, look at this shit. It's looking thick, bro.
Dude, we're gonna go over it later. If you're listening, we're gonna do a call. I don't know what time, Denton, but it's on my calendar. We're doing a stream for combos, directional plays, how to get more leverage, how to do synthetic perp options, really how to utilize portfolio margin and be a better trader. Because a lot of people have just been coming in and fucking aping puts at the fucking bottom, man. So trying to change this. All right, we'll see you. You guys are off. What time is the call, Denton?
Yep. I will. I'll see you in a little bit.
What time is the call?
In what, an hour? And
Should
a
be in
half?
2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
2
an hour
hours.
and
Okay.
50 minutes.
Okay. All right, I'll be on.